Welcome back to MysteryHQ. In this video we are going to cover every single perk and the best augments you should be using to survive more easily, reach higher runs and complete easter eggs much more consistently while playing solo in Black Ops 7 Zombies. Let's start with Stamin-Up. For the major augment, Free Folder removes all fall damage and it's very nice on Ashes of the Damned when you jump off the bridge for example, but being honest it's very situational. A much better all-around option is Guns Up, because it lets you fire your weapon while sprinting and that's useful on basically every map. For the minor augments, the best combination is Quarterback and Hot Foot. With these two you can throw equipment while sprinting, like Combat Axes, Casimirs, Semtexes, whatever, and if that equipment kills a zombie, you get a large speed boost. That allows you to run even faster and keep your movement speed extremely fluid during high runs as well. Okay, next up is Quick Revive. Since this is a solo augment guide, let me start with the minor augments. The two only possible options are Slow Death and Emergency Medical Kit. Emergency Medical Kit lets you craft a 4th self-revive at the crafting table, which is extremely valuable in solo. Slow Death works best with the Equivalent Exchange major augment. When you go down, you can deal damage while downed and revive yourself, keeping all your perks, including Quick Revive. During the Ashes of the Damned boss fight, this is actually the best augments to use. If you throw a Casimir grenade or monkey bombs, you get instantly revived and you don't need a ray gun or pack-a-punch pistol to do that. But those are pretty much recommended and like nice to have. Personally, I would still recommend using Dying Wish, and I use it most in my matches. Even though Equivalent Exchange is powerful, Dying Wish lets you completely avoid a down. The only downside is that when it activates, you lose Quick Revive unless you had it as an eternal perk. Overall, I would always pick a Dying Wish if I knew I'm going to get Quick Revive permanently. Otherwise, for main easter eggs, Equivalent Exchange is the better option. Juggernog is next, and I would like to start with the minor augments because these are basically no-brainers. Hardened and durable plates. Incoming damage is reduced while you have armor and your armor lasts longer, so this is the best combination. For major augments, I run Turtle Shell in most of my games, and combined with the minor augments, you can take an absurd number of hits before going down. For example, from a normal zombie, not an armored one, before round 11 you can take about 56 hits to your back before your armor even breaks. Not downed, just your armor breaking, and that's insane. But I still want to mention reactive armor. For certain camping strategies, high runs or dark ops challenges, this major augment can actually be better than Turtle Shell. So the major augment choice depends on your playstyle. Now let's talk about melee Macchiato. For the major augment, I usually like to use Espresso because it makes all your melee attacks faster. But I want to show a build that really benefits from the 3 augment setup for this video. You should use Mole as the major augment, combined with Stick and Move and Strength Training as the minor augments. This build lets you backpedal faster after every successful hit, but the real power comes from the other 2 augments. Instead of the normal punching animation, the game replaces it with your dedicated melee weapon, and I'm not sure if it's intended, but it keeps the damage of the punch. This is where strength training becomes important. Your punch, now replaced by the melee weapon, will one-hit kill zombies for far more rounds. Even without upgrading your melee weapon, you can one-hit kill normal zombies, so it's very important not armored zombies but normal zombies, all the way up until round 56, which is the health cap. I'm not sure, like I said, if it's intended, but I would take advantage of it as long as I can. For Speed Cola, Classic Formula is the best major augment. Reloading even faster is always nice. For minor augments, I recommend Fast Pitcher and Prestidigitation. One lets you deploy equipment faster, and the other gives a chance to reload without consuming reserve ammo. That means a chance to essentially reload for free, and that's like always nice on every single round. Vulture Aid also has a clear best build. The major augment Armormatic automatically applies armor plates, so you don't have to press anything. Combine that with Juggernog's reactive armor and it becomes an extremely strong defensive setup. For the minor augments, Condor's Reach automatically picks up nearby loot, and Picky Eater increases the chance of zombies dropping your current equipment. These two together makes resource management significantly easier. Next up is Depth Perception. I would like to mention first a major augment, Sixth Sense, that it gives a 10% damage reduction from hits taken from behind, and when you combine that with Juggernog's Turtle Shell, you can mitigate even more damage. But the visual indicator is so distracting, in my opinion, that I stopped using it altogether. Instead I run Critical Eye. It gives all body shots a chance to become critical hits, and that's very nice during boss fights and even when you just play casually, since there's always a chance that you deal a potential extra damage. As for minor augments, I will be very blunt here. The only minor augment that's maybe worth using is Extra Change, but that also has very few effect in your game. I usually pair it with Further Insight, but none of the minor augments of this perk is like useful. PhD Flopper has also a well-known build that enables advanced movement. You want to use the PhD Slider major augment with Tribologist and Environmentalist minor augments. This setup lets you slide farther and faster, and while sliding you become completely immune to environmental damage. For example, during the Calteris boss fight, you can slide through the purple electric rock area safely, which makes PhD almost mandatory here, but at least essential. For Mule Kick, I usually run a support build that lets me carry more ammo, more equipment and more armor plates. To do this, use the Pack Mule major augment with the fully equipped and plate hunter minor augments. This turns Mule Kick into an essential support perk that simply increases how much you can carry. But as an alternative, there's also an equipment focused build. If you use Free Throw as the major augment, along with fully equipped and Bogo as the minor augments. This setup lets you craft and hold more equipment and sometimes throw it without consuming it. If you rely on Casimirs for high runs, or you want to use Casimirs to kill the bears on Ashes, well, I would heavily recommend using this build. For Deadshot, the best general option is Deadhead as the major augment, giving a 21% damage boost to all critical kills. This is the default choice for most situations. But if you are using snipers, switch the major augment to that first, which deals double critical damage to full health zombies. For minor augments, I always run Dead Heat to gain movement speed after a close range hipfire kill, and Dead Break to deal more damage to armor pieces on heavy zombies. Now let's talk about Double Tap. The build I recommend uses Double Standard as the major augment, making every non-critical shot deal double damage. This works especially well with shotguns. But another good option is Double Impact, which boosts the damage on every other hit, but I still prefer Double Standard. For minor augments, I like Double Time for a higher fire rate. It causes your weapon to run out of ammo faster, but you also deal more damage faster, so it's a kind of a trade-off. The other choice is Double Caliber, which lets a bullet pass through multiple zombies more easily when, for example, you are shooting a horde. For Elemental Pop, there are two major augments depending on your goal in the match. For casual play, go with Electric Cherry, which creates an electric burst whenever you reload. But if you need a specific ammo mode for a challenge or camo grinding, use Citrus Focus so only your selected ammo mode activates more frequently. The minor augments are very straightforward for this perk. Chill Berry to reduce cooldown, and Vulnerability to increase the damage against enemies if they are weak to a specific ammo mode. And finally, Wisp Tea. This was quite difficult for me to make a choice about what are the best augments, because all four major augments are very useful, but for different situations. I picked the one I run most, which turns Wisp Tea into a powerful support perk, both for high runs and Easter eggs. For solo Easter egg runs, though I want to still mention that you should be using Zombie Sitter as one of the minor augments, even though the build I'm going to show is not using that. Okay, so for the build I use the Mask of Benevolence as the major augment, so whenever your Wisp activates, it heals you and it can even overheal you when you are in danger. And this is especially very nice during any of the boss fights currently in the game. For minor augments, I use Haste so the perk activates more frequently, and Fetcher so the Wisp collects nearby power-ups, extract nukes, so there's no chance it's going to skip the round on me. And that's pretty much it for this video. If this guide was helpful to you, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and I'm going to be uploading a video like this for all field upgrades and for all ammo mods as well, covering all elemental weaknesses in that video. So stay tuned, and anyway, thank you all so much for watching this video, and I will see you in my next one.